Right. So have you ever been watching a basketball game and you could only see one side of the court? You're missing out on the whole picture of the game, right?
Exactly. You wouldn't be able to see all the plays and strategies the other team is using.
It's kind of like how businesses traditionally approach growth. They get so laser focused on making the sale, closing the deal, that they miss a whole world of opportunity with the customer after that initial transaction.
Yeah, it's like they're only playing half the game celebrating that first quarter win, but forgetting there are three more to go.
And so many more points on the table, right?
Definitely. And that's what we're going deep on today. This idea of shifting from that limited sales funnel view to what our sources are calling horizontal growth.
I love it. So we've got some great sources for this deep dive. We've got McKinsey research on new B2B strategies.
Oh, yeah, those are always insightful.
We've got some deep dives into growth frameworks
Love a good framework.
and even real-world company examples to see how this actually works in practice.
The best way to learn. So it's going to be a good one.
For sure. So help me out here. What's so limiting about the traditional sales funnel that we need this whole new horizontal growth model?
Well, that old funnel with its stages of awareness, interest, desire, and action, it's been around forever for a reason. It does get us to that initial sale.
Right, it gets people in the door.
But then what? It just stops there.
Right, it's like, okay, mission accomplished,
Yeah.
pack it up, we're done.
Exactly. It completely overlooks the potential of the entire customer life cycle, which, if done right, can bring in way more revenue than that first purchase ever did.
It's like we're just focused on the first date and not even considering the possibility of a long-term relationship.
Exactly. We're missing out on building those lasting customer relationships and really understanding their needs and providing ongoing value.
Okay, so it's like we're watching half that basketball game, just the offense, no defense.
Yeah, a perfect analogy. And thankfully, there's a model that captures this broader view much better, the bow tie.
The bow tie, that's the one we see everywhere.
Yeah, it's super helpful.
So help me visualize this. How does the bow tie look compared to that old funnel?
So picture the traditional funnel, but then imagine it expands outward on the other side of the sale, forming a bow tie shape. And this horizontal part is all about post-sale customer engagement.
Ah, so the knot of the bow tie is the sale,
Exactly. That's the turning point.
and then it expands outwards.
A much more holistic view.
So walk me through those stages of the bow tie.
All right, so it starts with awareness and education, just like the traditional funnel, but then it moves into selection,
Selection.
where customers are comparing different solutions and making their decisions. So it's less about us convincing them and more about helping them understand if we're the right fit for their needs.
So we're not just trying to sell them on ourselves. We're being honest about whether it's a good match or not.
Yes, it's about building trust and transparency right from the start.
I like it. What's next?
Okay, so then we have prioritization. And the stage is super important because both the customer and the seller have to kind of confirm their commitment to a desired outcome.
I see. So they're both invested in a successful outcome, not just the sale itself.
Exactly. It's about aligning expectations and setting clear goals. And then it's mutual commit.
Makes sense.
Both sides are ready to move forward. Then comes onboarding, adoption, and finally expansion, which is where things get really exciting because that's where we look for opportunities to grow within that existing account.
Ah, so the real growth happens after the sale.
It's like we're just getting started. And this whole bow tie model really reminds me of something we saw in the McKinsey article, the new B2B growth equation, this idea that customer journeys are no longer linear.
Oh, yeah. They're all over the place now, right?
Yeah, B2B buyers now interact with companies across like 10 or more channels throughout their journey. They're not just following a straight line from awareness to purchase anymore. It's more like a choose your own adventure novel.
I love that analogy.
Hmm.
And the bow tie model kind of helps us visualize that more complex, multifaceted customer journey.
Absolutely. It emphasizes that the journey doesn't end with the sale. It's about nurturing those relationships over time and creating a seamless experience across all of those touch points.
Okay, starting to get how this all fits together, but let's get down to brass tacks. We've got this visual map, this bow tie. How do we actually put it into action?
Hmm.
Where do companies even begin to shift from that vertical transaction-focused mindset to this more horizontal growth-focused approach?
That is the million-dollar question, right? And it's not easy, but our sources point to a few critical steps. First, we got to break down the silos between departments, like marketing, sales, customer success.
Those departments are often working in their own little worlds.
It's like they're playing different games on the same court, but not really working together as a team. And one of the biggest obstacles to this horizontal model is misalignment between those teams. Marketing's focused on generating lead sales, on closing deals, and customer success on retention.
And they're all measuring different things.
Right. And so to really make this work, they have to be working together seamlessly to create a unified customer experience.
Okay, so no more tossing the ball back and forth over the curtain. We need everyone on the same side working together towards a common goal.
You got it. A unified team playing the full court.
I love that analogy. But how do we measure success in this model? Conversions alone don't tell the whole story anymore, right?
Definitely not. We need to look beyond those initial transactions and focus on metrics that actually reflect the long-term value of the customer relationship.
So instead of just tracking how many people we're bringing in, we're also looking at how long they stick around, how much they spend over time.
Exactly. So things like customer lifetime value, how much revenue does a customer generate over their entire relationship with us?
That's a much bigger picture.
And net revenue retention. What percentage of revenue are we retaining from existing accounts? And referral rate, how many new customers are coming from our existing happy customers?
So we're actually measuring the health of our customer relationships.
And that's the key to sustainable growth.
Okay. So we're not just looking at sales numbers anymore. We're looking at the bigger picture.
Exactly. We're looking at the whole game, not just the first quarter.
I'm really liking this shift in perspective.
And the best part is there are companies out there already doing this really well. In vertical to horizontal.pdf, they highlight Canva, for example.
Oh yeah, Canva's huge.
They track net revenue retention very closely as a key indicator of product adoption and organic growth. They want to know how well they're keeping users engaged and coming back for more.
That makes sense. If people are sticking around, they must be happy.
Exactly. And then you've got Tesla, who's built a powerhouse referral program. Existing owners get rewarded for bringing in new customers.
Oh yeah, that's brilliant.
It's like a built-in growth engine fueled by customer satisfaction.
I love that. So we're not just marketing our product, we're turning our customers into advocates.
Exactly. Word-of-mouth marketing at its finest.
Okay, so we've talked about breaking down silos and changing how we measure success. What else is key to making this horizontal model work?
Well, our sources point to the importance of customer-driven growth models like product-led growth or PLG.
Ooh, PLG. That's a buzzword I've been hearing a lot about lately. So what's the gist?
PLG puts the user at the center. It's about making the product itself so compelling, so easy to use, and so valuable that it essentially sells itself. The product becomes the main driver of growth, attracting and retaining customers through its own inherent value.
So we're not just trying to convince people to buy it.
Yeah.
We're creating a product that they can't live without.
Exactly. Think about Notion, for example. They've built an incredibly intuitive and valuable product that users love, and it's fueled their phenomenal growth.
Yeah, Notion's everywhere these days. And it seems like they're not doing a ton of traditional advertising.
Right. The product speaks for itself.
This is really resonating with me.
Yeah.
It's about shifting from selling to people to enabling them. Giving users the tools and the freedom to discover the value on their own terms.
Exactly. And that's a really powerful concept, especially in a world where customers have so much information and so many choices.
I'm already seeing how this shift from vertical thinking to horizontal growth can be a total game changer. But before we get too deep into tactics, I want to take a step back and talk about data, because it seems like data must be crucial to this whole approach, but it can also be totally overwhelming.
Oh, for sure. I mean, data is essential, but it's about using it strategically, not just drowning in spreadsheets.
Right. So how do we make data our friend, not our foe?
Our source, https://winningbydesign.com/WP-content uploads 2020-405, the Bowtie proposed -standard.pdf, offers a really helpful framework, the Bowtie data model.
Okay, hit me with it. I'm ready to become best friends with data.
So it starts with volume metrics like the number of leads, deals, customers, active users.
Okay, so we're tracking the raw numbers, the volume.
Then we have conversion metrics, which measure how well we're moving people from one stage of the Bowtie to the next.
Got it. So our leads converting to customers, our users becoming active.
And finally, we have velocity metrics, which look at how long it takes for those conversions to happen.
So how fast are things moving through the pipeline?
Exactly. And understanding these time metrics is crucial for making the customer journey as smooth and efficient as possible.
I like it. So we're looking at volume, conversion, and velocity. What do we do with all this data, though?
That's where benchmarking comes in. The source suggests comparing our performance against industry standards and our own historical trends.
So are we doing better or worse than our competitors? And are we improving over time?
Exactly. And this can help us identify areas of strength and weakness. For example, Imagine you analyze your win rates and lead volume trends, and you notice your win rates declining while your lead volume is staying the same.
Oh, that's not good.
Right. That could mean your sales process is becoming less effective, your leads are lower quality, or your pricing doesn't align with the value you're delivering anymore.
Okay, so we're using data to diagnose problems and figure out where we need to improve.
It's like having a health checkup for your customer journey.
I love it. So much better than just flying blind,
Definitely. Data is our friend when we use it wisely.
for sure. But before we go full data nerd, I want to loop back to something we touched on earlier, this idea of the customer journey being so complex these days, happening across so many different channels.
You're talking about the omni-channel experience.
Yes. It's like customers are juggling a dozen different balls in the air and we're trying to keep up.
And the key is not just being present on all these channels, but delivering a consistent and personalized experience across each one. So if I'm chatting with a company on social media, then browsing their website, then emailing them a question, it should all feel like one seamless conversation.
A consistent brand experience across all touch points.
Exactly. It's about meeting customers where they are and providing a cohesive experience no matter how they choose to interact with us.
And this ties back to the horizontal growth model beautifully.
Absolutely. Because it's all about building those long-term customer relationships by delivering a consistently high-value experience regardless of the channel.
Okay, so we're not just chasing transactions. We're creating a connected experience that nurtures those relationships over time.
You got it.
This is making me think of all those companies that just bombard you with marketing messages across every channel.
Yeah, that's the opposite of what we're talking about.
It's like they're playing whack-a-mole with their customers.
It's not a good look.
Not at all. So are there any companies out there that are actually doing this well, creating those seamless omni-channel experiences? Because I need some inspiration.
Definitely. I mean, think about Salesforce.
Salesforce is like the OG of CRM, right?
They were pioneers in the customer success movement, and they've built an incredible community around their products. They understood early on that relationships were key to their growth.
That makes sense. They've been around forever.
And then you've got Slack. They achieved huge viral growth by focusing on team collaboration and a seamless user experience. Their product practically became its own marketing machine.
They made it so easy to communicate and collaborate that people couldn't help but spread the word.
Exactly. It was all about creating an experience that people loved and wanted to share. And for some smaller companies doing it well, look at Wistia, MailChimp, Full Story.
Okay, cool. So they're all really focusing on those product-led growth strategies we talked about earlier.
Exactly. And they're proving that you don't have to be a huge corporation to create amazing customer experiences. And in the B2B world, look at Chris Breslin from Farnell Global and Avnet.
Okay, so there are examples across the board.
Definitely. It's not about being the biggest or having the deepest pockets. It's about embracing that customer-centric mindset and building systems that support it. And that can happen at any scale.
This has been such a fascinating deep dive so far. We've gone from basketball analogies to breaking down silos, measuring success differently, and now we're talking about creating seamless customer experiences across a million different channels.
And this is just the tip of the iceberg.
There's so much more to explore. I'm hooked.
I can't wait to keep going.
All right, let's do it.
So we've been talking a lot about this shift to horizontal growth, really focusing on the whole customer journey.
Yeah, and it's a pretty big shift from that traditional sales funnel mindset.
Totally. And as we're making this shift, there's another major player that's entering the game one that has the potential to totally transform the way we approach growth.
Okay, you're talking about AI, right?
Yeah.
I feel like we can't have a conversation about the future of business these days without it coming up.
It's everywhere. But I'm really excited about the possibilities of AI, especially when it comes to horizontal growth.
I'm intrigued, but also a little bit intimidated, if I'm being honest.
I get it. AI can seem like this mysterious force that's going to take over everything.
Yeah, like a robot's going to replace all the salespeople. Is that what we're talking about here?
Not quite. I see AI more as a powerful tool that can actually enhance the human element of business, not replace it.
Okay, so it's not about AIs versus humans. It's about AI and humans working together.
Exactly. It's about finding the right balance, leveraging the strengths of both.
Okay, so paint me a picture. How do you see AI fitting into this horizontal growth model specifically?
Well, AI has the potential to supercharge horizontal growth in a few key ways. It can automate tasks, personalize experiences, and even predict customer behavior with incredible accuracy.
Okay, so AI can basically do all the heavy lifting, leaving humans to focus on the strategic and creative stuff.
That's a good way to put it. Think about it this way. AI can handle the tasks that are better suited for machines, like analyzing massive amounts of data, segmenting customers, even generating content.
Okay, so like all the repetitive stuff that can really bog us down.
Exactly. And by freeing up human teams from those tasks, they can focus on what they do best: building relationships, providing strategic guidance, and creating those high-touch moments that customers really value.
Okay, so it's about AI taking care of the efficiency so humans can focus on the effectiveness.
I like that. It's a great way to think about it.
So give me some specifics. What are some tangible ways that AI could be used to drive this horizontal growth we've been talking about?
Let's start with personalization. AI can analyze customer data to create hyper-personalized experiences across all those channels we were just talking about earlier.
So instead of sending out generic marketing blasts, we're talking about tailoring website content, email campaigns, even product recommendations to individual user preferences.
Exactly. It's like having a personal shopper for every customer.
Oh, I love that. So it's all about making customers feel seen and understood and valued, which ultimately builds stronger relationships.
And that's the heart of horizontal growth.
Absolutely. What else?
Well, AI can also be incredibly powerful for predictive analytics.
Okay, so what does that mean in plain English?
It means that AI can look at past data to predict future outcomes. So, for example, AI could help us predict which customers are at risk of churning, which ones are ripe for upselling, even projecting a customer's lifetime value.
So we can get ahead of the curve, be proactive instead of reactive.
Exactly. It's like having a crystal ball for your customer relationships.
I love it. AI is our personal fortune teller.
Not quite, but it can definitely give us some valuable insights.
So we've got personalization and prediction. What else?
Let's not forget about automation. AI can handle a ton of repetitive tasks, like sending out emails, qualifying leads, scheduling appointments, and more. This frees up our human teams to focus on higher value activities like strategy and relationship building.
Okay, so it's not just about working faster. It's about working smarter.
Exactly. We're using AI to streamline those day-to-day tasks and make our operations more efficient.
This all sounds amazing in theory, but are there companies actually using AI in this way already? Because I need to see it to believe it.
Oh, absolutely. Many companies are already leveraging AI for horizontal growth. Some are using AI-powered chatbots to provide instant customer support and personalized recommendations. It's like having a 24/7 concierge service that knows exactly what each customer needs.
So we're talking about instant gratification combined with personalized service.
Exactly. And AI is getting so sophisticated that these chatbots can handle increasingly complex requests and provide really helpful support.
Wow. What else?
Well, AI is also being used to personalize email marketing campaigns, optimize pricing strategies, and even create targeted content that resonates with specific customer segments.
So AI is basically becoming our marketing and sales assistant.
It's a powerful tool that can help us really understand our customers and tailor our approach to their individual needs.
I'm starting to see the possibilities here. This is pretty exciting.
It is, and I think we're just scratching the surface of what's possible with AI and horizontal growth.
That's what's both exciting and a little bit scary, right?
Yeah.
As AI gets more advanced, what happens to the human element of business?
That's a valid concern and one we need to be mindful of, but I honestly don't think it's an either situation. I believe AI and humans can and should work together.
Okay, so it's about finding that sweet spot, that balance between human intelligence and artificial intelligence.
Exactly. AI is great at analyzing data, automating tasks, identifying patterns, but humans are much better at building relationships, understanding complex emotions, and providing those personalized human touches that customers crave.
So it's not about one replacing the other. It's about figuring out how they can best complement each other.
I couldn't have said it better myself. And I think that by combining the power of AI with human ingenuity, we can create truly exceptional customer experiences that drive real growth.
Okay, that makes me feel a lot better. It's not about robots taking over. It's about humans and AI working together to create something even better.
Exactly. It's about leveraging technology to enhance our human capabilities, not replace them.
I love that. It's a much more optimistic and empowering way to think about the future of work.
I agree. And I think it's essential that we approach AI with this mindset of collaboration and augmentation.
But with all this talk of tech and strategy, it makes me wonder about the bigger picture. What about the company culture?
You're hitting on something really important here, because you can have the best strategies, the coolest tech, the smartest people, but if you don't have a company culture that truly embraces this horizontal growth mindset, it's not going to stick.
So we need to talk about the human element, not just the AI element.
Absolutely. Culture is everything when it comes to making this shift.
So how do we create a culture that truly embraces this horizontal growth mindset? Where do we even begin?
It starts at the top. Leaders need to champion this customer-centric approach, set the tone, and clearly communicate the expectations for the entire organization.
Okay, so it's not enough to just talk. The talk leaders have to walk the walk.
Exactly. Actions speak louder than words. Leaders need to demonstrate their commitment to customer success through their decisions, their actions, how they interact with both employees and customers.
So it's about leading by example, creating a culture where everyone is aligned around the customer.
That's the key. And it's not just about top-down mandates. It's about creating a shared purpose and passion around the customer.
So everyone feels invested in their success.
And don't forget to celebrate those wins, both big and small. When someone goes above and beyond for a customer, acknowledge it, celebrate it, make it visible.
That's such a great point. It's about positive reinforcement, creating a culture where people feel valued and appreciated for putting the customer first.
It's all about creating an environment where everyone is aligned around the goal of delivering exceptional customer experiences.
And that's what horizontal growth is all about, right?
Exactly. It's a holistic approach that encompasses strategy, technology, and culture.
This has been a mind-blowing conversation. We've gone from the basketball court to AI-powered crystal balls, and now we're talking about building a company culture that puts the customer at the heart of everything.
And we're just getting started. There's still so much more to explore.
I can't wait. Bring it on. So we've covered a ton of ground in this deep dive. We've talked about the limitations of the traditional sales funnel, the power of horizontal growth, the role of data and AI, even the importance of culture.
Yeah, it's been quite a journey, but I think now we need to talk about how we actually put all of this into practice.
You're reading my mind because I'm sure our listeners are thinking, okay, this all sounds great in theory, but how do I actually do this in my business?
Right. It can feel kind of
That's
overwhelming.
a lot to take in.
Mhm.
So where do we even begin?
Well, one of the most practical starting points is to just take a look at your existing customer journey.
Okay, so we're putting on our detective hats and mapping out every single touch point a customer has with our business.
Exactly. From the very first interaction all the way through to ideally a long and happy relationship.
So we're talking website visits, social media interactions, emails, phone calls, purchases, the whole shebang.
Yep, the whole 9 yards. And as you're mapping out that journey, pay really close attention to the friction points.
The friction points.
The places where customers are getting stuck, where they're dropping off, where the experience could be smoother or more personalized.
Okay, so we're looking for those moments where we're losing momentum, where we're not quite meeting the customer's needs.
Exactly. And once you've identified those friction points, then you can start brainstorming solutions.
Okay, so what are some examples of solutions?
Well, could you streamline a process? Maybe make it easier for customers to sign up or make a purchase. Could you personalize a communication? Maybe tailor your emails or website content based on individual preferences. Could you develop a new feature or service that addresses a specific pain point that you've uncovered?
I like this approach because it's really about taking a critical look at what's already happening and finding ways to optimize it for this horizontal growth model.
Exactly. It's about continuous improvement.
And I love that you said, don't be afraid to experiment.
Oh, yeah, that's key.
Because there's no one-size-fits-all solution.
You got to try new things, gather data, see what resonates with your customers.
I'm a big fan of the iterative approach. Fail fast, learn, and iterate.
Totally. It's the best way to figure out what works.
So we've analyzed our customer journey, we've identified some friction points, and we've brainstormed some potential solutions.
What's next?
What's next? Well, it's time to empower the team, right?
Yes, because we can have all the best ideas in the world, but if our teams aren't equipped to execute them, then it's all for nothing.
So how do we actually empower our employees to embrace this horizontal growth mindset and take ownership of the customer experience?
Well, training and development are super important.
Got it.
Make sure your teams really understand the principles of horizontal growth, why customer centricity is so important, and how the tools and technologies we discussed can support their efforts.
So invest in their knowledge and skills.
Exactly. Give them the resources they need to be successful.
Because they're the ones on the front lines interacting with customers every day.
They're the ones who can really make a difference.
And don't underestimate the power of communication.
Oh, for sure. Communication is key.
Keep your teams informed about your horizontal growth goals. Celebrate successes and share customer feedback regularly. so everyone feels like they're part of the journey.
Exactly. It's all about transparency and open dialogue.
It's about creating a sense of shared ownership and accountability.
And remember, horizontal growth isn't a one-time project. It's an ongoing journey.
It's a marathon, not a sprint.
And it requires constant adaptation and collaboration.
We're all in this together.
And that collaborative spirit, that's what's going to help you navigate the ever-changing world of business.
Well said. This has been such an incredible deep dive. We've explored the power of horizontal growth, the role of data and AI, the importance of culture, and some practical steps to get started.
And before we wrap up, I want to leave our listeners with one final thought.
I'm all ears.
As technology continues to evolve at this crazy pace, I really believe that the companies that will thrive are those that never lose sight of the human element.
That's so important.
In a world that's becoming increasingly digital and automated, genuine human connection is more valuable than ever.
Because at the end of the day, people do business with people.
Exactly. So as you embark on your horizontal growth journey, remember to lead with empathy, authenticity, and a genuine desire to create value for your customers.
I love that. That's what's going to set you apart and create lasting success.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
So there you have it, folks. A deep dive into the world of horizontal growth, complete with actionable insights, inspiring examples, and a challenge to embrace the human element as you scale your business.
It's been a blast exploring this topic with you.
Likewise. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, and until next time, keep playing the full game.